First up, House Republicans have named members to the Select Committee to investigate the Benghazi terror attack that killed 4 Americans and injured many others. The big question now, will Democrats join the committee? This morning on Fox News Sunday, the head of the House Democratic Caucus, Congressman Xavier Becerra, sparred with the new chair of the Select Committee, Congressman Trey Gowdy, over whether another investigation is really necessary.
I have more questions than answers, despite the fact that committees of Congress have looked at this attack for 19 months now.
Trey, you served on one of these committees that did this investigation. You're a great prosecutor. You should have asked those questions, or you could have asked those questions.
So how will a Select Committee be different than the Benghazi investigations we've seen so far? Let's ask someone who's been pushing for answers for a long time, Congressman Blake Farenthold, Republican on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, good to see you today.
Howdy, Shannon.
All right, let me start by asking you something that Congressman Becerra pointed out there. He said, listen, there have been a number of investigations. He points out the fact that Congressman Gowdy sits on one of the committees. You do as well. By our count, including House and Senate committees and other independent law enforcement agencies, there are more than a dozen investigations. How will this one be different?
Well, we've picked a smaller committee. We've got people who have a background in law. Most of the members there have been to law school. We've got people who are not going to be flamethrowers. We've got people who are going to want to get to the bottom of this and get to the truth, and that's what the American people want.
All right, what's going to happen if Democrats decide they do not want to participate? Does it hurt them? Does it hurt the validity or credibility of the committee as a whole, and whatever results that the committee may come to?
Well, I certainly think it hurts the Democrats. It indicates that they're not willing to get to the truth. They say there's nothing more to investigate, but we're still getting evidence. The letter, the emails that just came out a couple of weeks ago, if we'd had those originally, if the White House had cooperated more, we might be done with this by now.
All right, so what was it, do you think, that finally pushed Speaker Boehner to move forward with this idea? There have been calls for months by a number of folks across the Hill and across the country. What it was that finally pushed him to take this step?
I think he wanted to get a committee that's going to be very level-headed and go after it in a way that's going to get to the truth. The Government Oversight and Reform Committee, which I'm proud to serve on, we're very aggressive at ferreting out waste, fraud, abuse, problems in the government. We're going to take a different tack at it with this Select Committee. We're going to go after it with a laser focus.
All right, so you have plenty of Democrats criticizing, some publicly calling for none of their members to get on board with this. Others say that it is nothing but politics. It's aimed at going after a former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, and a potential 2016 run, and that there are Republicans and other groups who are fundraising off of this. How do you respond to all of that criticism, and can you break through to eventually convince the average American that this investigation is legitimate?
I think we're already there. If you look at the surveys, they're showing the American people want to know the truth. And the families of the 4 men that died there deserve closure, and they deserve to know the truth, too. Listen, there's a long history in Congress of doing investigations. It's part of our job. And if the Democrats don't participate on this committee, they're setting a dangerous precedent for in the future when a Democrat Congress might be investigating a Republican.
All right, Congressman Blake Farenthold, we thank you for your time. We know you've been very busy this week with a lot of activity on the Hill. We'll see where this goes and how folks respond to the various forms of criticism coming your way. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Shannon.